crazy mother.
Hello and welcome back to another Empty Genius podcast. I'm Jim.
This is Jeff.
And I'm Judah.
Okay guys, so Amonkhet pre-release has happened. Initial thoughts?
What about those unicorn frappuccinos at Starbucks, right?
I think we should get a unicorn frappuccino, put some magic cards in it, and drop it off a building and see if they survive.
That's magical right there.
That's views.
Anyways, Amonkhet, let's see. The pre-release went fairly well for you, didn't it, Jim?
Yeah, the first night was off to a rough start, but then after that it was to the races.
Really rough start, actually.
Yeah, 0-4. You know, I just wanted you all to have a nice time before I decided to take the trophy home.
I thought you were just being,
Whiny?
I don't know, well,
Really-
like
really
hopeful
bad at
when you
Magic?
said that, oh, you know, I got all my luck out of the way first night, I'm going to be lucky the next few nights. But you were right.
It worked. Yeah, so we had fun. We had probably 15 people on average-ish.
Yeah.
Some good pulls all around. One guy pulled 2 invocations
Yeah.
in one night. That was pretty sweet.
We saw, I think, four total.
4 total in
Yeah.
pre-release packs.
Yeah.
That was pretty
Those
good.
pre-release packs.
Yeah, those are crazy.
Overall, I really enjoyed it. I thought the limited play, you know, no Kaladesh cards, no Aether Revolt, no copycat shenanigans, just
Right.
throwing together some decks. Like the first night, just terrible cards, but I thought it was really a blast, a good set.
Yeah, I really liked playing. The last night I did terrible, but I really liked playing. I really liked seeing how all the cards interact. There was a couple of really neat combos. There was Anointer Priest. Whenever a token enters the battlefield, you get 1 life. And Bontus, whenever you summon a creature, you get 1 life. Your opponent loses a life. And then there's the Curse. Whenever your opponent...
That was such
really
good value
creature.
because in pre-release, everybody runs creatures.
I had somebody play that one on me turn 2 and then another one on turn 3. And it just locked me out of the game. I died.
Yeah. I think, definitely. I mean, when you play limited, you normally want to go creature heavy because
Yeah.
you want to have
Absolutely.
presence on the field.
Well, and I was playing in bomb, so every creature was entering twice.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
But I thought the mechanics were nice. Each day I ran a completely different deck, like completely different. First night was a bomb that bombed. But second night was an aggro. I got a Ronos, so I was just playing heavy big creatures, and that worked really well. And then the third night, ended up getting a Gideon, and then just some really good value white-black cards, and wound up just being able to tap people down and swing in. So I thought the mechanics themselves worked really well together. I thought it was fun, just a lot of options. I really like the -1/1 counters. It's not technically Wither, but there's a lot you can do with the -1/1 counters. And the creatures themselves, so you can play those really cheap creatures turn 1, and then turn 2 you can just dump 3 1/1 counters on those creatures, and then you've got a 4/4 on turn 2, which wound up being really powerful.
That's definitely useful.
Yeah, third night, I mean, I went no rares, and I found, it's tempting, everybody talks about it's tempting to, build your deck around that rare and promo or whatever, and sometimes that works, but I found that, we put that really good card in there, and this is pretty steady of all night, and all, however many games you play, whether it's, like 8 to 12 games, 4 rounds, you might only see that card 3 or 4 times. Probably less than half the games you play.
Yeah.
So you can't rely on it as a strategy, and it's tempting not to do that. And that last one, I didn't go any of my rares because they just didn't really. And I didn't win, but it played beautifully, just with commons and uncommons.
Yeah, I think, one thing that, to touch on what you said, Jim, there's so many different ways that the cards interact, and there's so many different choices you can go with. And I think that's really what killed me on the third night, was there were so many different interactions and so many ways that I could build a deck that I froze. I'm pretty sure I ended up building 5 different decks throughout the entire night, and none of them worked because I was just trying too many different things at once.
Yeah, I had a similar problem on night 1 where I had a 3-colored deck, and I had tons of synergies, but at the end of the day, I wasn't doing anything. I'm playing these creatures and bombing them, but they're all still small creatures, and I just got walked over. But I thought maybe we could just go through and say some of our favorite cards we ended up playing with, or some of the ones we saw were kind of the most fun, or ones that felt kind of game-winning, at least in Sealed.
Definitely. Like Judah was saying, I think the most effective cards for me were definitely not the rares. I do like to try and like pick a rare to focus on to like maybe that's how I'll build off.
Sure, it nudges you in the right direction.
But the second night, which was my best night, I got 2 Trials of Strength.
Oh yeah, the Trials, man. All stars.
3 drop for 2 creatures. And I was like, wow, that's, actually really good. So, but then I was going through and I had 3 blue cartouches, 2 black cartouches, and like 2 green cartouches. And I was like, I can just keep playing the same card for creatures over and over again. And so I built it based on not the rares, but the actual just the strength of the commons and the uncommons that I had. And the interaction was really fun. Card draw. I think the blue cartouche is probably my favorite in Limited. Just because flying is really good.
Yeah.
It's hard to deal with a flyer. And then card draw is always something that you want to have.
Yeah. I think my favorite... I got a Ronos Knight too, which was my favorite card. But in theme with like the uncommons and common slots, the one that ended up putting in the most work for me was the Decimator Beetle. And I had a slightly -1/1 counter theme going on. I had a couple of the other cheaper, you place -1/1 counters on creatures you control. I had, what's the zombie? The Menace, 5/4 Menace zombie.
Oh, Plague Belcher, right?
Plague Belcher. And then, but the Decimator Beetle, it's a 3 colorless, a black and a green, which were my colors. And when it enters the battlefield, you have to put a -1 counter on a target creature you control. But I ended up having the mana creature that you remove counters from him in order to keep him as a mana rock, and so I ended up just always throwing them on him, which gave me more mana. And then whenever Decimator Beetle attacks, you remove a 1/1 counter from a target creature you control and put one on a creature your opponent has. And if you start attacking with it, it just gets out of hand quickly, because there's a lot of really high power creatures in this set also that have lower toughness, and or just that swing and the difference of power, being able to remove the counter from your guy, put it on their guy, just sets up combat so well in your favor.
That definitely sounds like a board changer right there.
Yeah, it did a ton of work, and the times that it was removed, I noticed it. It was much harder to win without getting that down.
Slither Blade was interesting. Personally, it wasn't my favorite, but it was really cool. A lot of people loved just that 1-drop, 1/2, it's unblockable. Just loading up with the cartouches. A little vulnerable to just killing, especially with the -1 counters, but there isn't that much control in Amonkhet.
And if you get a cartouche or 2 on him, then he gets out of range pretty quick.
Yeah, gets out of range pretty quick. That's what a strategy a lot of people I saw playing. Kind of hard to get it going, but when you do, it's pretty good. I played him, but Fanbearer was great.
That's the one you can pay 2 and tap him down?
Yeah. It's a 1-drop, 1/2, I think.
Yep.
And 2 and tap him, and it's just control straight up. And I saw people just stopping a god with it again and again. And it's just like every single turn, upkeep, you tap it down. I had one on the 3rd night, and just that one, it was great. But or somebody like loaded up the Slitherblade with cartouches, and he was just locked out. And that was his strategy. Couple other creatures, but that was his strategy, and the Fanbearer just kept it down. And but I also loved that mummy. Binding Mummy.
Oh man, you played like 3 of those the other
I had
night.
4 in a single deck.
Nice.
And it was just so great. It's kind of an aggro strategy, but you just play it, and that's for any mummy. You play it, and if you get 2 down, this is one thing I didn't think about until I started playing with them. If you have 2 down, if a mummy comes in, you tap down 2 of their creatures.
Right.
You get 3 down, and then the Embalm. I had some Embalm that I wish I had more.
Panharmonicon? Oh,
Wrong set.
Yeah. But
That's really, that is really good limited strategy. If you can get white mummies, like you were saying, like the Binding Mummy, and what was the Fan
Bear?
Yeah, the Fan Bear. I got 2 on night 3. And
being able to lock them down like that.
I had a Gideon, and I was able to keep Gideon alive because they had flying threats on the battlefield, and you just tap it down. It was super, super powerful. And it wound up being the win condition because when I finally did get a white enough board, I could tap down their board and swing for lethal.
Yeah, I remember actually playing against your Fan Bears and your Binding Mummies, Judah, and you played a Binding Mummy and then taps down one of my creatures with the Binding Mummy that was already on the field, and then you played the red cartouche and made it so that my other creature couldn't block and swung in for like I think 7 damage on like turn 4. And I was sitting there like, what the hell is happening? It's like turn 4.
All of those are commons. Yeah. Slitherblade, Binding Mummy, Fan Bear, they're all commons. You know, I mean, I wish I'd seen, I only saw one, and I don't think many people, I wish I'd seen more Fan Bears. Such a good card.
My favorite use for Slitherblade was to throw on 6th Sense. Being able to have that extra card draw.
That was great.
You had 2 Slitherblades and 2 6th Sense, right?
Yeah. On that last night, I did run a deck that had both, 2 of each. The first night that I played, I actually had 2 and 3, and I ran 2 and 2.
Yeah.
And I just think that is just a great way to... And if you get the green Ronan's Monument, Ronas's Monument.
Yeah, the one that creates a 4/2.
No, not the
the
trial, but the monument gives +2/+2 and trample to a creature whenever you summon a creature.
That one was brutal.
Yep.
So you can give a creature trample, or if you don't want to trample through, you just put it on your Slitherblade and you're swinging for 3 now. And if you got that 6th Sense on them, you're drawing an extra card, and it just everything flowed really well. The first time that I played it, and that was the first night.
Speaking of those colors, I think now that blue-green might be a real thing in Standard.
Simic.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Nissa, you got the Mana Dork, 3-drop that taps for 2 colorless. Mm-hmm. That Rashmi was in Kaladesh, and she's crazy.
She never really took off, but she might actually have something now.
Yeah, we got good mana fixing. I think I'd be really interesting to see. It would be like a control, almost like an Awaken deck or something, or you just ramp hard.
Ramp and control. I think it's just gonna be a good mixture of both.
Yeah, I think it'd be a pretty fun idea.
Plus, I was actually surprised when I first saw it with the counterspell for creatures.
Essence Shatter.
Yeah, I mean, now that there's Negate and Essence Shatter, it's like, you know, I mean, now they're both in Standard, and
having both of those in Standard is really nice.
With Disallow to back it up.
Yeah. So let's run a Brawl deck.
Yeah.
And let's get some counters on the board.
There you go.
Lots of card draw. Lots of counters.
One thing before we move on to be in our list, I thought would be interesting to talk about was how we like the mechanics we saw. Because we talked about that last week, but now we've had a chance to play with them. And I wondered if maybe our ideas shifted or anything. I think everybody got a chance, or at least to try to play some of the Aftermath split cards. What did you guys think about those?
I liked... There's a blue-green one, and I can't remember what it was, but it was, you start off 3-drop, you get a land, put it on the battlefield tapped, and then later on you do the blue side and you draw 2 cards.
Okay. That was like a 6 mana draw 2 cards, I think.
Yeah, it's either 5 or 6.
Yeah. So I liked, overall, I was a little disappointed in Aftermath.
Springmind, I think it was.
Spring to Mind. There it is. Yeah, thank you. That was the one that actually
you search for a basic land
most use out of,
and put it on the battlefield, and then you can draw 2 cards.
Yeah, and the Mind side is 6-drop, but towards the later game, I was able to use that to give myself a card advantage, which you can run out of cards in Limited very easily. And when you're not trying to run out of cards, like you're not playing a heck-bent deck, that's not good. It's not good. That's not what you want.
Here's one aspect of a mechanic that I think could be interesting, is the Aftermath cards in a Delirium-style strategy. A lot of them are a little bit more expensive, with the exception, I think, the white-blue one.
Even that one's expensive for what it does, in my opinion.
Yeah, I know, but the Aftermaths are expensive.
Yeah.
But if you can just use them and they're instant sorceries.
Yeah, some of them are.
So yeah,
some of them are instant.
The Spring to Mind is sorcery for Spring, and the other one's instant. That I believe that doubles up in Delirium.
Yeah.
And it's value later in the game because you don't have to cast the first later. If you just mill it into your graveyard, you can cast it later.
That's pretty good, yeah. Artifact creature and instant sorcery, and then boom, you got Delirium right there.
2 cards.
2 cards, you get Delirium.
So I think that's where they stand out is their interest and their use combo-y or how much they are in your graveyard. I didn't find... So Mount to Feed was the one that I played that I liked. That was the create a 3/3 green hippo for 3, which is kind of on curve. It's okay. And then after that, you get to, for 4 at Sorcery Speed, you can draw a card for each creature you control with a power of 3 or greater. Yeah. And it was usable. It was a good card. Glad to have it. I would not play that in Standard.
Definitely.
And that's where I felt with most of these Aftermath cards. I think they're going to be good in Draft. They're going to be good in Sealed. But I don't think we're going to see a lot of these pop up in Constructed.
Yeah. I never really saw value. I got 2 of them as my promos.
Like you said, maybe with like a Madness Delirium style deck, because if you do get an instant sorcery one, it does feed Delirium. But aside from that, I think they were fun and they were okay. But like towards the 3rd night, if I saw that pop up as my rare, I was not excited.
Yeah, honestly, they all are kind of expensive on the second half. And the weird thing is they kind of go together too. So like start to finish, commit to memory, they're all things that you want to play and then play the next one right afterwards.
They are.
But they make it so hard to do that.
Yeah,
it's
they're
like 6 or 7 mana total. Yeah. I mean, Spring to Mind, if I wanted to do both of those, I'd have to spend 9 mana in one turn.
Yeah, there was give something indestructible, and then you make all creatures that block it, but that was a 7 mana.
Yeah, Born to Lead.
Yeah, I know, but like with the Spring to Mind, if you just milled it into your graveyard, and then way late in the game, you've got 8 mana up or something like that, and you're just whiffing, just drawing land. You're just like, oh, I got an Aftermath card in my graveyard. Draw 2 cards.
Yeah, you know, there is actually a lot more mill in this set now.
Yeah.
We've got the one that cycles for 1, and then mills 5 cards from target library, and then there's the Rebuke, which is return something to opponent's hand, and then each player mills 2. So there's other cards as well, but I mean they're introducing a lot more mill. Yeah. And I think there's ways to use that to your advantage, like Delirium and Embalm.
Yep.
But yeah, I think it's just overall though, not the most effective cards. Exert can be effective. I don't think about Exert in Standard very much though.
I think we'll see it in a couple of decks, but I don't think it's be main. Like I think there's something in there with a white-red Exert aggro deck with like Always Watching and Combat Celebrant maybe and Glorious End, maybe something that just goes kind of crazy. But I don't know that that's tier 1 by any means, but it could be pretty explosive. Exert was interesting. I mean, Glorybringer might see some play. There was that 2/2 white for 2 that you could exert and get flying finished out a few games. Like it was the little push that needed to deal some damage at the end. But I agree. I didn't really. It was fun. I enjoyed it, and there was strategy behind it. I enjoyed the thought process of okay, can I afford to exert this guy? So there's a lot of strategy that went into it.
Right.
So I thought it was okay. I didn't have any problem with it. I don't think it's game breaking or game changing, but
there's just I think. The problem with Exert that I have is that you have to choose to do it as you attack, and you can't choose to exert during combat.
Right.
If you could use that as a combat trick, it would be so much more powerful. But to tap your guy down for a whole extra turn to get normally a small boost, like Combat Celebrant, does give you a larger boost. But
yeah, I think there are some in there that are powerful, but the majority of the Exert guys are...
I think the only one I would really want to exert outside of basically needing like the card draw or something in a limited format, I would exert maybe Champion of Ronus or Glorybringer, and I think, in Combat Celebrant. Yeah. So, but going along the lines of the red white, there's the Crop Elite flying 2/2 exerts all your creatures get +1.
Yeah, that Anthem effect.
Yeah, that Anthem effect, and then if you use that with Combat Celebrant, I mean that is. The aggro of aggro.
Because it untaps it so you can do it again and Anthem again in the same turn.
Yeah.
And then you Glorious End, take another... No, it's pretty cool. So I think we might see it more. It wasn't one of those like you saw Exert everywhere, but when it cropped up, it was fun.
Exert in Limited was a little bit more of a just, oh, this creature has Exert, I'm going to go ahead and use it. It wasn't really, at least that I saw and what I saw people playing, oh, I've got a ton of creatures with Exert, let me try and build something around this.
Yeah.
You know, whereas in Bomb, that was much more...
What do you guys think of Embalm?
Useful. If you mill your creature, you can discard your creature.
Yeah, the one...
If it dies.
So the thing that I came up with there are a couple really good Embalm creatures.
Yeah.
But the majority of Embalm I didn't like. Mostly because night one when I went 0-4, I had an Embalm deck. Because that was all I could play. Like I had that 2-drop white, blue Vizier, I think, that gives creature tokens a +1 and can't be blocked.
Timid.
Yeah.
Oketra's Attendant was much better.
Yeah,
when I
was
first
going to
had
mention that. Oketra's Attendant is my favorite Embalm creature.
Because of the cycle.
Because of the cycle. Yeah, cycling's great. You cycle it away early. Later on, you pick it out. Or if you get to late game and you play it, it trades in combat, and then you embalm it and keep going. So it's really... That was a solid creature.
You actually did that to me. I had embalmed one. He played a regular, traded, and I didn't even think about it, and then he just embalmed it back, and then I'm stuck without a flyer, and he's got a 3/3 flyer. It was rough.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, that one, and when I was first started playing it in the evening, I was, like, nervous to cycle. I'm like, this is such a good card. And then, like, a little later, I had to cycle, and I realized just the value. Like, who cares? Yeah,
having
you can get it twice,
cycle was
don't
powerful.
save it. Just get rid of it, and then you play it later when you start whiffing.
So I'd be curious to see if somebody did an all-out Embalm deck where you had, you know, the good creatures to back it up. Those little cats.
Oh, man.
1/1 lifelink cats with Embalm for 1.
Those were cool. They did some work. Especially
They
if you
do some
cartouche them
damage.
up a little bit, they
Yeah.
get some buffs.
Yep.
You throw like brute strength on a 1/1 cat, you're swinging for 4 lifelink, and then even if he dies, you just bring him back.
Yep.
You
Yeah,
know?
really, really cool.
So I could see something going on with some sacred cats and some anointer priests.
And then Oketra to finish it off.
Yeah, and get that even win guy, give them all vigilance and flying.
Yep.
Boom.
We missing any mechanics?
No, I think that's all the mechanics. I did see. We were talking a little bit there. I didn't see anybody use it, but the Honored Hydra actually is probably my favorite Embalm creature.
Yeah,
Just because he costs less.
Yeah.
He's the only Embalm creature that actually, like, you get a benefit if you can just get him out.
That's, again,
into the graveyard
Delirium.
Yeah.
And then
Brain.
just bring them back out.
Yeah, super, super powerful.
Turn 4, 6/6 trample is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I mean the mechanics are cool. I think my favorite mechanic is just the cycling.
Yeah, that's
Yep,
the most
absolutely.
powerful, best mechanic.
I was thinking we need to petition Magic Wizards to make that evergreen. I want cycling.
Cycling in every set.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's vigilance, it's lifelink, it's cycling.
I think eventually
So much fun.
they'd make a card that would be too OP and not realize it.
I'm sure they would, but that's
Yeah,
what
then
they
they
have
just throw it on
bannings
the
for.
ban list. Speaking of which,
Yeah, right? Okay, let's
why
get into
didn't
this.
they
Speaking of which.
put the freaking cat on the ban list?
It is sad to me. I know there are going to be a lot of people who are excited and a lot of people saying, you know, Amonkhet has the answers that we need, but
As soon as
Aether Revolt didn't have the answers we need. Aether Revolt brought Cat, right? Fellow Guardian.
Yeah.
And it just, yeah. I mean, I guess we touched on it last week, but it seems so much more oppressive playing against that than, or even brewing against that, right? Like when you're making a deck, you can think like, oh, how do I play against Marty vehicles? There's some artifact hate. There's a way to get around it. And all the colors have a good grasp on it. Yeah, Marty vehicles is really strong. I think most of its strength is the fact that people have to build decks that can handle Saheeli combo.
Right. They have but we talked about it a little bit earlier before we started the podcast. They have the curse.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing that bums me out is that we've had, what is it called? The 1-drop white
Authority of the Console.
And that hasn't stopped Saheeli combo. And so, I mean, having another color have it, that makes Marty vehicles better.
Yeah.
But
Manglehorn.
Manglehorn's solid, but it also dies to all the removal that Saheeli has. So there are answers. I'm not saying there aren't, and I think there are more answers. So I think Saheeli might get more difficult, although now Saheeli has access to all those answers. So
Gideon.
Gideon.
There is, you're right. And everything that they give us to try and fight Saheeli can just use against us.
Yeah, she's 4-color now.
Gideon
so.
is not even an answer.
No, Gideon dies instantly.
Yeah, because if they go wide, they just swing 10 of their 1 million cats at your Gideon, and he dies as well as you.
Good point. That's a very good point.
Glorious End, I think, is the best answer.
Yeah, just end the turn.
Yeah.
Die on your own.
Yeah.
Die on your own terms.
You don't get to decide when I die. I decide.
So it is a little bit of a bummer to me. I really think if they had banned Felidar Guardian, we'd see a really, really cool standard. From what I got out of the pre-release, I think I'm really excited to build with this set. And let's hope we still have a pretty good standard. But I think it's going to be a lot more constricted by having to play around this combo.
I'm hoping that just locally we see people get excited about Amonkhet and try and alter and build and just kind of forget, for now at least, forget about the Saheeli.
Sure,
combo.
I think our local games will be okay.
I think
the thing that'll be interesting to see is in 2 weeks, is the Pro Tour still Saheeli combo and Mardu vehicles?
That's something to look forward to, is the Pro Tour. And
I don't think it will be.
I think Saheeli combo is a deck.
Okay, but Saheeli combo lost to Mardu vehicles.
It did.
And I think there's a deck out there that can beat Mardu vehicles.
They now have a better Saheeli. I just looked earlier today, and Saheeli is 36% of the meta. It's the highest played deck now. 4-color Saheeli. And Saffron Olive pointed this out. The Saheeli deck now is actually legitimately good without the combo. So they could have banned Felidar, and it's still a really good deck. And he pointed out that a lot of times people are losing it against this deck. It's because they're afraid of cat combo, and they win because you have to hold up all your answers.
Yeah.
So you're sitting there paranoid, freaking out, keeping up 2 mana, or keeping 1 mana for shock, or making sure you have a mana and a counter for shock, counter, and they just wind up valuing you out. And they don't even have the combo, but you're always... The fear of the combo is what makes it so oppressive.
I think that is probably one of the reasons why they should have put it on the ban list, is because if you're playing against a deck like that, I mean, having to always wonder, are they going to pop this out and I'm not going to be able to stop it because I wanted to throw an extra creature down. Having to always hold an answer for just one combo.
And it's not...
And they just beat the crap out of you the rest of the time because you can't play the rest of your cards.
Right.
It's oppressive, and it makes you not...
And it's not interactive. It's not an interactive...
You know what was interesting was, in the last Pro Tours, watching those last, how many? 8 Mardu vehicle decks go up against each other? Or something like that. I think it was 7 and then 1 Saheeli combo that quickly got eliminated. If it did get to the top and win, just watch a bunch of Saheeli combo decks. I mean, that'd be sad, but it'd be funny just watching them beat up each other, trying to...
Saheeli combo. Yeah, well, I mean, Saheeli combo fights Saheeli combo well, too. I mean, they run counters, they run shock, I think, now.
So basically, whoever's the better Magic player and whoever wins the die
gets good cards.
It's part of its luck, part of its skill, Bryce, the one who runs the Saheeli combo in our shop, he runs the Reckless Fireweaver, so even if you have them all inter-tapped or something, he's just dinging you for damage the whole time.
Yeah.
And then he runs Panharmonicon too, because he's a jerk.
Well, like I said, our shop's a little bit more diverse, and a lot of the people, we try and do our own stuff, but every shop's got that one guy.
Yeah, everybody's gonna hate on my dad because he knows how to build the good decks, and then
the good deck is
Mardu vehicles. And he goes, you know what? That's pretty similar to mine. I'm gonna add Heart of Kirin to
here's the thing. I will play Mardu vehicles, and if ever if people net deck at the shop for Mardu vehicles, you can sideboard for it. You could build a deck to beat Mardu vehicles. I don't think you can build a deck that beats Mardu vehicles and Saheeli combo, and that's why I kind of wish they had.
Yes, that's your whole sideboard is sideboarding for that, and then by the time you sideboard in for both.
Well, and to me, I rant on this, but Mardu vehicles is an interactive deck. I'm playing Magic against that deck, and I'm putting defense up, and I'm fighting, and we're having fun, and they are aggro, and it's good aggro, and they got answers. So Mardu vehicles is strong, but when I lose to it, I felt like I played Magic. Whereas if you lose to cat combo,
do you feel like they run the one?
You don't feel
roll?
like you played it. Yeah.
Or the coin.
Even if the deck isn't as good, like even if you win 2 out of 3 games, that game you lost doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like it was.
Just fun. Listen to us, Wizards.
Yeah, come on. We're ranting and
bring back our Gitax probe. All right.
No, I'm good. Gitax can be gone.
And throw away the Felidar Summer. And I want my smuggler's copter back. All right.
I would give you Smuggler's Copter if they'd bring back, or if they'd banned. We could trade it. We should
I
have
like the wimpy successor to Reflector Mage, by the way. Failure to comply.
I hate that card.
The same, it's a white and a blue and 1, and it's the same damn thing as Reflector Mage.
Except it's not tied to a body.
Except it's not a creature, and it goes away after you cast the second half. It was almost like a little bit of a slap to the face, like for anyone who was running Reflector Mages. They're like, yeah, but you can have this. It's like,
it's a worse version.
That's terrible. No one's gonna want to run that. They might try. In
that was my promo one night. Oh my word.
That I feel like that was probably. I mean, I got so many of those in all
that
packs
would
that
work.
I think it's a common.
In sealed, it's worse because nobody's gonna. I mean, maybe they will. Like I had a lay claim. 7 mana drop, gain control target permanent. Great if you run into a Gideon or that stupid 7/7 worm or something like that. But if you play that, there's not gonna be like some great card they're gonna play. They're just gonna be playing. You're gonna be holding that back, and they're just gonna be playing these little creatures, some cartouches, maybe a few big creatures. You're not gonna get the value out of it in sealed. Maybe
steal their land. You have got 7 land. It's target permanent. So they're like, oh, you have that? I want your mountain. Enchant
permanent, that was great. And you can cycle it. But
also,
with the failure to comply, it's not great value in sealed. Standard, it might see a little better value, but I don't know. Like, okay. Saheeli combo.
Yeah, I mean, it holds them off for a turn.
Okay, so if you have a Saheeli combo in limited, screw you. But anyways,
that'd be impressive.
Saheeli combo, I mean, there's just no way. There's no way you're running Lay Claim in a standard deck, I don't think. I mean, 7 mana is just way
you
too
won't
much.
play Lay Claim.
Was it Bracken opened Saheeli combo in an Aether Revolt?
Did he really?
Pre-release. He got Saheeli out of the 2 Kaladesh packs and Felidar. He didn't actually play it because he got a Tezzeret too, so he went that route.
Nice. I remember one time he tried to play a Mechanized Production and Noxious Gearhulk, and he just wanted to get that combo. And that's what he built his whole deck around, was those 2.
Yeah, see, in sealed like that, if you just got one of each, like if you got that Saheeli, like if I got one Saheeli and managed to pull 3 Felidar Guardians, yeah, I'd put him in there. But if you just get 1 in 1, I mean, just getting one of those, you're going to get 1 out of every...
Well, and you hate yourself winning that way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it depends on who you are.
No, not dwelling on the past, not dwelling on Saheeli combos
so up
anymore.
Next, we're going to talk about banning
the future.
Felidar Guardian.
No, let's talk about the future. The future of Limited, the
it's
future
terrible
of
because of Felidar Guardian.
What about tips? Tips for drafting. What do you guys think would be the best way to draft?
We have to run the disclaimer. We are not professionals. You should not listen to us because we don't know what we're talking about. Okay.
Yes. We are not responsible
for limited.
Okay, I would say
get cartouches.
Yeah, we talked about this earlier. Cartouches, but this
also
is going to be
Gideons
one of the worst things is when you're drafting, and I mean you know how that is. Like who's not running blue? Who's not taking off blue or this or whatever. But then the second pack and third packs open, and you're just like, do I color shift here? I mean, what do I do? That's going to happen. You're going to see, start seeing cartouches. You're going to be running, white, blue, and then you're going to see the red, green cartouches or the black, green cartouches go, and you're just like, no! But those are going to be great in draft. And
I'm looking forward to draft because I think the commons, not as much commons really, but I mean, there are really good commons with the cycling, but the uncommon slot seems really strong in this set. And the rare slot is really, really good, but the good cards that I had the most fun playing were, Gideon was great, he's fun, but that Beetle was amazing, and that's an uncommon. There's the cartouches are common, and the trials are uncommon. The monuments are uncommon. So I think you can build really fun, really synergistic decks with just the commons and uncommons, and there's gonna be enough of them. I think this is gonna be a great set to draft.
Yeah, I think if you're gonna draft trials, try to go for the green or the black.
Yeah.
And then if you can get,
black
1 or 2 of each,
Mm-hmm.
and then run some cartouches.
It's gonna be great.
I think that's probably one of the best, most utility you can get out of a card. when you can take a card and just recycle that ability, in limited, that is huge.
And you'll need you'll need one trial and 10 cartouches, and that's it. I mean, I'm sure you can. But again, a lot of the cards that are really great in limited are the cards that are great on their own, and cartouches are great on their own. And if you get a trial, they are
good. Is that they're actually decent. If you play
as far as creatures, obviously, I'm a Binding Mummy fan. It's so great if you can get some. But there's so many mummies, plus the Embalm. That's really great. Fanbearer is great, but also another one that I overlooked at first before the pre-release was Festering Mummy. 1-drop, 1/1. But if you think about it, when it dies, it trades with the 2/2.
Yeah.
And I saw so many people, they had that on the board and they just kept swinging with it. They never put any cartouches on it because you don't. It's going to die. Yeah. But the other people never block.
Well, they don't want that 1/1
because
counter
if they
going
block
on any of their
with a 1/1, they trade and then one of their 2/2s is now a 1/1.
That's something I wanted to point out.
It was good value with that guy.
Those little 1/1s that have value. There's the other Jackal, Zombie Jackal, that you can play from the graveyard. There's that Festering Mummy, which is upside when it dies. There's another 2-drop that's a 1/1, and when it dies, you get a 2/2 zombie. Those, I had a couple of those in one deck, and then there's such high value creatures that make you, they make you put -1/1 counters on other creatures. But if you have those 1-drops out first, you get upside for moving those -1/1 counters over, and then you get these big bodies. I would really be tempted just to draft. If you see those, I can't remember the name of it, but it's a 4/4 for 2, 1 green, 1 colorless, and when it enters the battlefield, you put 3 -1/1 counters on a target creature you control. And if you drop that Jackal, that's the turn 1, and then you drop those counters over there on turn 2, you've got. I mean, it's just an uncommon.
Was that Channeling Initiate? With the 3/1/1s? Because that one's a rare.
No.
I know which one you're talking about.
That's a 3/4 that turns for mana, but this one was just I can't remember the name of it. I look it up, but I'm too lazy. But there were several like that. That other zombie that you remember the name of that I can never
Exemplar
remember.
of Strength.
Exemplar of Strength.
Yeah,
thank you.
Exemplar of Strength.
He's there.
2/2 or like 4/4 for 2.
Mana Dork.
But you're right. Okay, so going back to like the Jackal and the cards that you can get a second use or
the cat
use.
The little lifelink cat is beautiful to drop.
1/1 for 1 white with lifelink and Embalm for 1. Those
and
little,
it's a common.
Yeah, and so you
ones,
you slam those -1/1 counters on if you attack in with it or whatever you want to do. Put the -1/1 counters on it, get it back. Put -1/1 counters on it the next time, and you get these super high value creatures.
The cat so much upside probably get you at least. You can expect at least 4 life out of it. One for the swing, 1 for the block, or maybe at worst 2 life if you embalm it, and that's value.
And you can, and like he was just saying, Jim was just saying, you can actually just use those as your little sacrificial lamb because you can get them back. Being able to pay 3 to bring back that Jackal every time.
Oh yeah,
as a sorcery, but
or just a little poor guy that keeps getting -1/1 counters dumped on him. It was great. I just pull back, play a huge creature, dump all the -1/1 counters on him, and keep going. Super
you play
high
your
value.
Plague Belcher and kill that guy.
Yeah, the Plague Belcher is a 3-drop with 5/3 with Menace.
There's a 3-drop 4/3 with lifelink that does the same thing.
Yeah. So that is a really strong route. If you see those cards coming by, that's what next time. I mean, I haven't drafted yet, but if I draft, I'm going to be looking for that kind of combo.
Yeah.
And there's also Embalms, cartouches. There's a lot.
Embalms, anything that you can get back.
There's also a really strong discard theme.
I saw Judah discard 4 cards, I think, in like 1 turn. Get 4 Drakes and then play Shadow of the Grave and get all those cards back.
Yeah.
And like the fact that he had that combo like blew my mind, but it was really cool to watch in the sealed. If you can get something that cool in your draft, I would say go for the discard theme all the way.
Yeah, super fun.
Drakehaven
by itself
is super useful.
By itself, the Trial of Ambition, the Black Trial, is great.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
Even without the cartouches, it's great.
Yeah, 2-drop removal.
Yeah, I mean, and plus, if they have just like that'd be so stupid. They're like, boom, God, you're just like Trial of Ambition, Doesn't matter if it
Well, I
has
was
a
actually playing first game against Jeff, and I had the trial, but I didn't play it in time, and he got a couple tokens out, but then I wound up getting a cartouche, so I ended up playing a cartouche, getting back in my hand and playing it again, and cleared 2/3 of your creatures off, and I was able to swing in, and you had to block with your other good creature. So it was just like that, that cartouche, or that trial with cartouches winds up being so much value.
Yeah, and just being able to remove a creature, and then the green one being able to place a creature. I think those two will still just always be the ones. I think the blue one also has a lot of use, because I think it's draw 3 cards.
Yeah, it's a little more expensive. It's the most expensive one, right, at 4 mana. But you draw 3 cards. Do you discard?
I think you discard. I do think you discard. I can't remember.
But in a control deck, that's pretty strong.
Another card I thought that would be great in limited. It was pretty good in
discard 1 card after you
in
draw
the pre-release,
so.
but
that gets you a 2/2 Drake.
Yeah.
Was Lux River Shrine. Would be great to pull, I think.
Was it
that was
the
life.
Yeah, that one wound up being pretty good, unless somebody gets a Harsh Mentor.
Oh yeah, yep. That is tough. But honestly,
honestly, Larry said he was playing against somebody who dropped 2 of them and got them both online, and then he played a Harsh Mentor.
Yeah, but honestly, you can't be being scared of rares.
Sure, you can be scared of whatever you want to be.
You know,
this is America.
I mean, if you know they have it in the deck. Sure,
you sideboard that out. You can draft it, but just remember that you need to have a backup plan in case they have that.
Yeah, but okay, even besides that, if you get the brick counters on and they play a Harsh Mentor, then it's just doing nothing. You know, you can tap it, gain 2 life, and lose 2 life. You know, and then if you get rid of the Harsh Mentor, then you're back in it. But that one was the one of the better with the brick counters.
It's a good stabilizer, good sustain.
It's good. It's great sustain, and if you get those out, that's 2
one
life every
I liked
turn.
Actually was the other 3-drop artifact that tap or target creature can't attack, and then once you get 3 brick counters on it, its target creature can't attack, block, or activate abilities.
Yeah.
And that wound up being really powerful. The times I got it down, it wound up shutting things down. I had no flyers on the field, and I had a Gideon out, and I had not the Binding Mummy. What's the 1-drop that you tap down a creature?
Fanbearer.
Yeah.
Fanbearer. I had that artifact, and then I had Gideon's +1, and I was up against Oketra and 2 4/4 flyers, and I was just able to hold them off like the entire game because this one can't attack, this one can't activate abilities, this one can't deal damage, and so it wound up being really, really, really helpful.
Edifice of Authority is the one.
Okay.
They're both good. So
okay.
And honestly, like that's not something like if someone is running that in the deck, that's not something you're like, oh man, I got a sideboard in that artifact hate I got. Yeah, exactly. You're like, oh, whatever. It's not something that they won the game with. It's something they stalled out and ultimately might have won the game with because they stalled you out. They were able to keep up life.
Yeah, I think anything. And then, like we mentioned before, the curses are great. If you can draft a curse.
There's that 7-drop ancient or mythic one that I got that's not so great, but maybe in limited.
I had someone play that on me.
The black curse.
It's a black curse.
Yeah, the 2-drop one.
Okay. Yes.
I can't remember what it's called.
That was super solid.
I had someone play it on me, and they played it as soon as they got to, I think it's 7 mana. I think it's 5 and
the
2.
Curse?
Yes.
I can't remember what it's called. Yeah, that'll kill you real quick.
Yeah, but I mean, it's limited. You're playing creatures. It's an aggro style strategy. Came close, but I killed him first.
Nice.
Trespasser's Curse.
Yeah, that was an entire turn he took casting that, and at a critical point in the game.
Okay, in the interest of not going 2 hours this week, I figure we could talk about the decks we're thinking about building / call the next format. Like the deck that I want to build, I hope is the next Pro Tour winner. So I think. So to start off, to call the next next Pro Tour this format, I think Saheeli is still going to be a thing. I think that deck has got tons of value.
I hope it dies. I hope it gets munched.
She's better than ever,
I really think she is because I think she's got access to cycling and she's got access to just so many good things.
New counter spells.
Yeah. So we'll see. Hopefully there's answers enough to take care of it. But the deck I'm most excited for and the deck I'm going to try to build first is green-red aggro with gods. And I think it's going to be super fun. I think it'll be strong. And with green, you have access to Manglehorn, which, is not the best, but it's solid. You know, Manglehorn makes all your creatures or your opponent's creatures come in tapped, artifacts come in tapped, and since Saheeli's tokens are artifacts, if you can keep your Manglehorn alive with Blossoming Defense or the like, then you'll be okay. And with Sopperpard, now they can't, or Sir Poppard,
I
or whatever
trip
it is,
on
they
my tongue
can't
every
be
time I try and say
countered.
that.
So I think it's going to be interesting. I really don't know how it'll play. I haven't really play tested or anything, but I got it drawn up, and as soon as I get the pieces, I'm really excited to try that deck.
I'm gonna stick with my red-black aggro. I'm gonna add some Hazoret in there. It's gonna be all about red-black aggro discard.
And the stupid 2-drop Minotaur.
Yeah, the 2-drop Minotaur is gonna be great.
Yeah, you got some nice pieces for that deck.
You know, and it already runs pretty well. I mean, the Scrap
Yeah, you
Heap
took down
Scrounger.
Friday Night Magic with that one.
Yeah.
I'm
won
gonna
the
try
game.
and keep up with I have a deck with Saheeli's Artistry. No, not Saheeli's Artistry.
Your red green or red
No,
energy?
red black or black white. Sorry.
You're talking about Marionette Master.
Marionette
stuff?
Master.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Marionette Master. Marionette Master with Yeheni in there for the sack, with, and then also the other Aetherborn, and just servos. And plus there's the new, I don't know if this will work, but there's the new enchantment. It's the little doubling season.
Yeah.
But a new deck that I was really interested in was with the final counterspell that just completed the cycle. Although honestly, I wouldn't mind if Mana Leak was in standard right now.
I would.
That'd be
You have to
just
remember
too
it could be
much.
played against you as well.
No.
Yeah, I mean,
but I haven't seen any.
we've got our censor.
I haven't seen any Baral, and I'm thinking of a red, blue Baral Chief of Compliance control deck.
I think that would be great. I think it needs to run something in the ice.
Yeah, that's one that I haven't put in there. But I've got the Thermal Alchemist. I've got Soul Scar Mage, which is great for just damage, stays on them, so you don't have to worry about getting if you got a 4/4 out there, you got to take care of, and you got a 3 damage spell. Hit it for 3. It's just neuters it down. Who cares?
I'm strongly considering running Fling.
Oh,
In
yeah,
a
dude.
standard
Seriously.
deck,
Well, I mean,
so-
you're running Lupine Prototype, right?
Yeah, so if
So
I
you
can't
gotta-
use that Lupine, I might just fling them at you.
I'm actually.
Call it a
I would think
day.
it would be kind of fun to run Fling in the God deck, just to throw Ronas at their face.
Yeah.
Literally, he said he'll throw it at
Oh
their
yeah,
face.
if I play Fling, I'm picking up whatever card I sacrifice and throwing it at them.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's the only way to play the card for
Yeah.
sure.
I don't think
I wanna
it doesn't
see
resolve
your-
if you don't do that. I don't think.
I want to see your Metalwork Colossus deck with some Fling in it.
Oh, Metalwork there's so much hate for Metalwork Colossus right now. It's sad, but I what I'll probably do is come in with a God deck, play that a few rounds. Hopefully it does well. People will sideboard against it. There won't be a lot of artifacts, and then when everybody's got rid of all their artifact hate, come back in with some some flying Metalwork Colossus.
When you're playing your new red-green God aggro deck, if you do happen to fling one of your gods at Saheeli when they play Fellet Art Guardian, wave at me, and I want to come over and see it. And then throw it at them.
I think you get to rip up the Healy if you do that.
As you can tell, there's a lot of hatred for this.
Actually, I love Saheeli.
So.
I hate the Fellet Art Guardian.
Yeah, honestly, I love Saheeli. Saheeli's great. I had this old
Saheeli
when
makes
Kaladesh
another
came
Metalwork
out.
Colossus.
I had this energy Thopter deck with the just energy engines. What were those called?
Oh, you're talking about the decoction
modules?
Yeah, decoction modules
and virtuosos,
and
Whirler virtuosos.
Whirler virtuosos,
And
and if you get
Panharmonicon.
3 of those or a Panharmonicon down, then you just
Then you
go.
don't need Saheeli combo.
And well,
And
you
that's
know,
your own infinite.
Yeah,
Infinite
okay.
energy Thopter combo.
I was talking.
but
to
they don't have
about-
haste.
Yeah, they don't have haste.
But they don't go away at the end of the turn.
Yeah, but one.
Blazing Volley.
Yeah, Blazing
Yeah.
Volley.
Well, I use
Searing
Saheeli.
Blaze.
I use Saheeli to copy either Panharmonicon or copy Decoction module, and that's it. And Saheeli was great in that deck.
Yep.
But that's what somebody talked about. There's actually quite a few 3-card infinite combos in standard.
Yes.
The Saheeli combo is the only 2-card one.
Well, it's not just that it's a 2-card one. It's a 2-card one with haste.
Yeah, it's a 2-card win.
So if there are so many ways that if they didn't have haste, okay, now you did it on your turn or even on my turn, which you can't do that with Saheeli, but it's a 2-card combo that kills you the minute it goes off, that's what makes it tough. But we have ranted
I love Saheeli.
Not quite enough
I hate
about
Felidar
Felidar
Guardian.
Yeah.
We'll be back next week with some more rants about Felidar Guardian.
Yeah, so stay tuned to We Hate Felidar
I
Guardian.
think we should change the name of the podcast.
Yeah.
Okay, but what if they actually banned it?
Then it's yay.
The podcast name is called Yay. Okay. Well, thanks for anybody who's listening. Final thoughts?
I'm really excited for this new standard. I really like Amonkhet.
Yeah.
I like the creatures. I like the gods. And we'll be back next week to report in.
All right.
All right.
Catch you later. Thanks for listening.
Signing off.